All right, well, welcome, y'all. I hope to entertain you for just a little bit. And guess what? I had a really great night's sleep last night. They're trying to get my oh Lord, y'all, my
medicine right.
yeah, my medicine right. Thank you, honey bunny. I appreciate you. Trying to get my medicine right and for my thyroid and all that kind of stuff too. And so been having some really bad issues, of just getting comfortable, being able to sleep. They're also working with that. But anyhow, enough of me. I'm glad that you're tuning in and watching this video on Knott's Country Kitchen. And today we're going to be I'm going to show you how to make some good old Southern style turnip greens. So without any ado, let's get cooking. All right, so we're gonna get us a big old pot like this morning, or this afternoon rather. We're gonna turn my little heat on, and what you're gonna need to get started is I took some bacon and I cut it, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna render this bacon down. And so we're gonna put that into our pot, get it all rendered down, let it be cooking. All right, because got to have that little smoky. I'm using smoked bacon, so that way it gives that little bit of smoking flavor, y'all. And then you're going to get a little bit of that fat from the bacon. Let me get that off in there. You're going to get a little bit of that fat off in there from the bacon, and so that way kind of cook it, slice it up, cook it, and then once it starts getting just a little almost done, we're going to take a half of an onion and we're going to dice it, and we're going to put that in the pot as well. So as soon as this bacon gets done and then we get ready to put the onions in, I'll be right back to you and show you. Okay, and then next thing that we're going to do, now that our bacon has rendered a little bit like that right there, then we're going to put that half an onion that I was telling you about. We're going to dice it. We've already diced it, and we're going to put that half an onion in there and let it start rendering with that bacon, and just kind of stir it around. Like so. And let that cook down just a little bit, just till the onions are kind of transparent, so to speak. And then we'll get ready to start putting our greens in there. And then we'll start with the rest of it. I've got two medium-sized turnips that we're going to put those in there as well when we get everything else done. So until then, I'm going to let this cook down, and then we'll start getting our greens. Okay, so now we've gotten our bacon, and you see how the onions have gotten just that little bit of transparency to it. And because we don't want our bacon to overcook either. So, and I brought this over here so that way you can kind of see. I've got a hot plate, son. I want to go ahead and start assembling the rest of our ingredients, and then we'll put it back on the stove top. And rather than having to get greens, you see, I don't know if you have them at your local store. We have them at our local butcher's here, and what this is turnip greens, but they're already washed, rinsed, and cut up for you. So that really saves me a lot of time, because on turnip greens or collards or anything like that, you really need to soak them really, really good in the sink to let all the sand and the grit kind of come off of it. And then once you wash all your greens and stuff, you set it over, let it drain, rinse out your water, fill it back up again. And you got to do that process like 2 or 3 times to get all the grit off of it, so to speak. So this here just kind of saves you time. They're fresh still. And what you're going to do is you just want to dump this in there. Really, that's all there is to this part of it. Oh, y'all, I tell you, I can't do nothing. Look at y'all. Anyhow, you're going to put that in there, like so. And then at this particular time, what I like to do, because since it is, because they cook down. Oh, Lord, they really cook down. And I usually, like some of the stems that are pretty big or whatever, because usually I de-stem mine if I'm doing it, where I don't have to or where I'm soaking it or whatever, I go ahead and just de-stem those. But I take this opportunity here, and we're just going to kind of flip that bacon and that onion off of the bottom, so that way when we put it back onto the stove, it's not going to burn. Okay, so we're just going to do that, get that going. You know what, let me get another deal over here. It's a lot easier when you have two to work with. Anyway, kind of toss it like a salad, so to speak, and that way you can kind of turn it a whole lot easier. So anyhow, we're going to do that. And but y'all mama, or even y'all, you know, my mama wasn't a messy cook, but you know, I always heard, you know, hey, if you make a mess, it was really good. So anyway, we got that kind of mixed together. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to add the rest of our greens. And like I said, these are going to cook down a lot. It's almost kind of like spinach. It cooks down quite a bit. And I just don't want the great big old stemmy stems, you know, with no leaf on it, so to speak. And so we're going to push these all down. And if you've got, like I said, and these are really easy too, to go ahead and start cooking and have them prep them for the day before, you know, or prep them the day before for the next day's dinner. Honey, that's even better because it's got time to, all the flavors and everything to get together. So it's really good to do that. And most especially if you're, like I said, if you're a working mother and you need to kind of get ahead. That's what I usually always did when I was still working and my kids were at home. All right, so now that we got these greens in here and we've got them kind of tossed, what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to add a little bit of salt. Oh, y'all, I'll turn my stove back on when I get ready. But we're going to add a little bit of salt. And like I said, you know, just kind of eyeball this. This is going to be just to taste, and we'll probably have to add a little more of that to there. But we're going to add some salt. We're also going to add some black pepper. No, black pepper, honey, not Dr. Pepper. A little bit of black pepper. Pinch of this and a pinch of that, like I always told you. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take chicken broth. You say, why chicken? Because it gives it a really nice flavor, okay? It really goes well with your turnip greens and your turnips. It doesn't taste like chicken. Like everybody always says, old joke, you know, everything tastes like chicken, but no. So it's really good. Depending on how much turnip greens you cook, that's going to determine how much of this you need. Usually I have to have the whole container. And this is, I'm going to say, this is a 32 ounce. So that's going to be 2 pounds, y'all, of this here. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring this to a boil once again, and then we're going to add the rest of our ingredients. Oh, you say, is there more? Yes, there's more. Absolutely. Positively. Let me get this over set because I don't want it to splatter on me. But it's been a morning, y'all. I had some coffee and chit chat this morning and did some Bible study this morning. And I tell you what was in the book of Acts, and discovered, or just, well, I already knew it, but you know what? When you read those scriptures over and over, sometimes I don't know about y'all, but I know that I will always take away something from the scripture that I'm like, oh, wait a minute, I didn't get that the first time. So anywho, always go back and read it again. But it's fine. So we're going to go ahead and put this covered. We're going to put it back onto the stove and let it come to a boil and start letting those greens get softened up, and then I'll let you know what else is going back in there. Okay, now that our turnip greens have boiled, and as you can see, they've reduced in size. Well, so now is a good time to go ahead and put the rest of your ingredients in here, okay? Next thing you're going to need is, I took 3 cloves of garlic. Yes, garlic. You're going to need garlic in it. You're also going to need 1 tablespoon of sugar, and yes, sugar in it, because they can get a little bitter, and you don't want them sweet. You want just a little bit of sugar. And maybe, you know what, I think I'm going to go a half a teaspoon. So instead of a half a tablespoon. So instead of going a whole tablespoon, because I can always taste it and see if I need some more. So we're going to add that there. Now is a good time to go ahead and add your turnips to it. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Add our turnips to that. We're going to stir them around here. Like so. Get them all stirred up together. And we're going to go ahead, and that's really all there is to it. You're going to put them on the stove covered, okay? You're going to bring it back up to a boil and let it go ahead and do its magic and let it go. So we're going to go ahead and stick this back on the fire. I'm going to cover it, and I'm going to watch my liquid intake. So if it starts, getting where the turnips are not quite done yet, or the greens are not quite done, you can at this point go ahead and add just a little bit of water. That's not going to hurt anything. Matter of fact, it might do it some good. So anywho, let me get this back up to a boil, and I'll be back to show you the finished product. Okay, our turnip greens are done. Let's go ahead and let you see what they look like. And yeah, that half a tablespoon was probably going to be perfect. We're going to taste it and see. So, let me get it off of the fire. Oh, y'all, let me get this here first. Put that down on my board. Don't want that hot pan next to it, y'all. Oh. Yay, y'all, look at that. Ooh, I wish y'all could smell my kitchen. Wish you could smell my kitchen. Look at this. Okay, that's the way you want your greens to look, your turnips. And let me see here. We're going to do us a little taste test. Oh, them turnips are good and tender, y'all. Y'all. Let me get a little bit of these greens up in here. Y'all look at that. See if you can smell that through there. Y'all, I'm so silly. But anyhow, hey, look at that. Oh, y'all, I bet you it's going to be so good. It smells good. Oh, y'all, let me sit here and taste this. Might not want to quit, y'all. This is a good side for just about anything while this is cooling. Tonight, we're going to have smoked sausage. I've already got cut up here to get ready to start cooking on those. Gonna have a little cornbread to go with this here, and probably some steak fries or something like that. But anyhow, I haven't figured out the second veggie, but this is absolutely going to be good. I wish I could smell it. Let's see. Them greens are cooked perfectly. The turnips still to where, firm enough to keep together, but very, very tender. Absolutely delicious. All your flavors are marrying together is what I'm saying. They're going to kind of hang out with each other. Say, hey, let's be friends. Y'all. I'm telling you, that's enough to make your mouth water. Is your mouth watering yet? Y'all look at that. Is your mouth watering yet? Mine was watering because I kept telling my husband, I said, oh, Lord, honey, it smells so good in here and out there every time I open up that door that our neighbor's going to say, hey, Miss Tina, what you cooking up over there? I'm going to say, well, I got me some turnip greens and cornbread. Y'all come on over. Set your plate. Y'all, that is so good. That'll go really good with fried chicken, meatloaf, anything you want to put with it. It's going to be it's a perfect side. So fix you some of that, because it's simple, it's easy, and it's fresh. So good. Your family will thank you. And y'all, thank you for hanging out with me. And if you want to, you check out Knott's Country Kitchen and see this all the cooking recipes that I do, that I grew up on, my favorites that I grew up on. So anyhow, I want to remind you, God loves you, I love you, keep a pure heart, and for goodness sake, if you ain't got nothing to say good about anybody, then don't say nothing at all. Shh, keep it. All right, till next time, I love y'all. Bye.